Next on Worcester News tonight, a look back at a busy election night in Central Mass, the big numbers and big winners. Plus, it's the time of year Worcester's leaf cleanup has begun, how the city is trying to help out residents. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. It was a busy day for residents and city staff in Worcester Tuesday as tens of thousands headed to the polls to cast their ballots. Close to 50,000 people in the city voted in the statewide election. Worcester has more than 111,000 voters, meaning about 44% of registered voters participated. In 2014 state election, only close to 39,000 people voted, which is less than 11,000 people the city saw this year. Of the close to 50,000 people who voted in Worcester, 9,000 of them took part in early voting. Incumbents carried the night for the most part. There were several contested races around Worcester, including a heated contest for an open seat in Worcester's 17th House District. Deborah Roslyn Flaherty joins us now with more. Roslyn?
Olivia, it was an open seat in the 17th Worcester District, and David LaBeouf came out on top. Meanwhile, in other races, incumbents say they're ready to continue to work. State Senator Ryan Fatman spent Wednesday morning thanking voters. Standing out in his hometown of Sutton, he's grateful they are sending him back to the State House.
Every single election where I've ever run, I go door to door, knock on people's doors, introduce myself, tell them about me and what I believe.
The Republican retained his seat for a third term, representing the Worcester and Norfolk districts. He beat his Democratic challenger by more than 10,000 votes and says he will continue to work on issues like education reform.
Making sure that local aid is getting to our towns for public safety, education, local services that really matter because these towns are dependent upon it.
State Representative Paul Frost is also heading back to the State House to serve his 12th term. The Republican lawmaker received more than 11,000 votes and says his key to success is he tries to work with everyone.
I'm not afraid to be Republican, but I'm not afraid to be bipartisan. And I think I've been able to appeal to enough independents and enough Democrats as well as Republicans to being able to maintain this longevity.
David LaBeouf will be heading to Boston for the first time to represent the 17th Worcester District. LaBeouf earned a big win in Worcester to defeat Republican Paul Fullen. He says he really tried to talk and listen to voters.
Making sure that we really directly engage with people.
LaBeouf says one of the first things he'll tackle is changing local aid and school funding, and most of all, wants people to earn his trust.
Making sure that we address really our healthcare system, especially around differentiation of prices for prescription drugs, making sure that there's a minimum standard of care.
Now, the 17th Worcester District was the only House or Senate race that was contested in the city. Roslyn Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
And two well-known names in Worcester County will stay. Both Congressman Jim McGovern and District Attorney Joe Early Jr. have served in their positions for more than a decade and say they have bigger plans for the future. Congressman Jim McGovern is elected to his 12th term representing the 2nd Congressional District. The Democrat received the most votes of any candidate in the city of Worcester and carried almost every town to fend off a challenge from first-time Republican candidate Tracy Lavorne.
I think what was on the ballot was the issue of decency. People don't like what they're hearing out of the White House and out of some of the Republican leaders. They want Democrats and Republicans to get along.
After declaring victory Tuesday night, McGovern says he pledges to try to bring the country together and try to solve problems.
We need to find a way to take money out of politics. Climate change is an issue. I mean, there's no shortage of issues to deal with, but we need to come together and we need to work together. We need to get things done.
Worcester County District Attorney Joe Early Jr. received a lot of support in Worcester. The more than 35,000 votes from city residents helped Early defeat independent Blake Rubin.
What the voters said tonight resoundingly was they appreciated our positive campaign, issue-oriented campaign, and they want us to keep fighting for the safety of people in Worcester County.
Early says his office will continue to fight crime, the opioid epidemic, and help victims of sexual abuse and trauma.
Take best practices throughout the country and bring them right here to Worcester County and work with our partners.
And city real estate lawyer Catherine Toomey coming out on top for the Register of Deeds position. Toomey has 18 years experience in real estate law. She says she decided to run for the position when longtime registrar Anthony Vigliotti announced he was resigning. Toomey says her vision is to bring new technology.
Technology is where it's at. We want to have better access. And also where the county is so large geographically, I have put so many miles in my car. I think it's time for people that live in the far reaches of our district to be able to see me. And I think a face is important. And my goal is to actually get out there and drive to Gardner and hold office hours and to inform people and educate people about what the Registry of Deeds is and how it works for them. And if they have any ways they can use it in ways beyond than they ever imagined.
And Toomey beat challenger Kate Campanelli with a 2-1 margin in Worcester. In the race for Senate, Elizabeth Warren also winning re-election. She defeated Republican Jeff Deal and Independent Shiva Ayadari. Warren has generated speculation about a possible run for the White House in 2020. She's promised to take a hard look at a presidential bid once the Senate race was over. While it was a big night for Massachusetts Democrats, one Republican stood tall. Voters re-electing Governor Charlie Baker to a second term. Perry Russum is taking a look at the governor's agenda.
Good night, and let's go!
The day after solidifying his second term as governor of Massachusetts.
Well, obviously, good morning to all of you.
Charlie Baker is back on Beacon Hill developing his administration's goals for the next 4 years.
We said during the course of the campaign that some of the issues that were going to be particularly important to us in a second term were continuing the work we started on the opioid issue.
Baker says his housing bill, still in the state legislature, will be a focus of his next term. If it passes as written, 135,000 new homes would be built.
We've also talked a lot about wanting to finish the work we started on transportation.
With 92% of the precincts reporting Governor Charlie Baker has 66% of the vote, nearly double of Democrat Jay Gonzalez.
Governor Baker also deserves credit and our thanks for the civil, respectful, and collaborative approach he has taken to governing.
That approach resonated on Election Day.
I voted for Charlie Baker.
What issues mattered to you when you were voting for governor?
I like the issues I basically put it on is what I think his track record has been.
I really like the legislation that the governor put forth in the housing choice bill.
He's a Republican. I lean Democrat, but Charlie Baker's done a good job.
Baker says the message from last night was voters want to see less arguing and more progress.
If you do the work and you stay out of the partisan bickering and you try to make it about improving the quality of life for people in these communities, they appreciate that.
Going forward, the governor says he will continue to be tough on the issues and soft on the people. In Lawrence, Perry Russum, Worcester News Tonight.
Switching gears now, leaf collection in Worcester started earlier this week. The service allows residents to sweep their leaves onto the street, and then street sweepers will pick it up. But some city residents say the service isn't as easy as it sounds. Our Brittany Schaefer joins us now to explain. Brittany?
Olivia, the free service costs the city around $200,000 a year. DPW says it's necessary so leaves don't block drains and create flooding. When the signs are posted on his road, Elliot Smith prepares for the city's fall leaf collection. Wednesday morning, he raked 23 bags of leaves to clear his yard.
But I come home last night, saw the sign posted for the leaf pickup. So I come out early this morning with a barrel.
The 74-year-old has lived in Worcester his entire life. He says the city has always done a great job clearing leaves shortly after the no parking signs are posted.
It's good. It's fine. And I have no complaints. It's all been within 2 or 3 days. This year it worked out perfect.
But not everyone has had the same experience. Jamie Shannon says he's had to wait up to 2 weeks for crews to remove leaves from his street.
You see them in the area, you know, and hoping that they would get to, you know, your house one day, and it takes a while. So we had to, you know, do a couple cleanups because the wind, you know, blew all the stuff around.
Shannon says in the past years, he's gotten rid of leaves on his own because of the unpredictability.
Well, I would like to put them out so I don't have to do it myself, but I probably won't wait this year.
Worcester Department of Public Works Commissioner Paul Moosey says resident complaints haven't gone unnoticed.
The biggest, complaint that we see is the signs are up for too many days.
He says the city has developed multiple ways to make the process easier than ever.
You can email us, you can get us through social media. The city's website will have updates every day showing a map. We make every attempt to let our residents know what's going on.
The city is currently clearing roads with Wednesday as their trash pickup day. Moosey says the order rotates every year. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
New tonight, state regulators clearing the way for recreational marijuana sales. 2 licensed cannabis testing labs in Framingham and Salem can soon begin operations after receiving state approval today. The Cannabis Control Commission needs to issue operation notices to the 2 licensed retail stores in Leicester and Northampton. They could be open within the next week. A new restaurant is open for business in Worcester. Its owner says its 1900s industrial theme reflects the town's history and has something for everyone. Our Chandler Walsh took a look inside and joins us now with more. Chandler?
Olivia, the restaurant is part of Indian Ranch. The spot was established in 1946 and is known for its summer concert series and campground, now expanding to include the restaurant. Entering Samuel Slater's restaurant is like taking a walk through Webster's history. The restaurant at Indian Ranch opened last week and is named after the famous industrialist Samuel Slater.
One of the founders of the American Industrial Revolution, and he actually helped found the town of Webster.
Owner Suzette Ron says they gave the eatery a 1900s feel as a nod to Slater's cotton mills.
We're trying to support the history of the town with kind of bringing in who Samuel Slater was and what he brought to this area.
Ron says the idea for the restaurant grew out of demand for a place to eat with a Webster Lake view.
People were looking for a place that was local to go to and something a little bit different than what's been here for the past couple of years. We decided to put something that has a little bit more of a craft flavor to it.
Executive chef Michael Winslet says the menu has something for everyone, but he drew inspiration from the location, focusing on steaks and seafood.
Being right on the water, is a golden opportunity for seafood, as well as being in New England, seafood is kind of a staple.
Winslet says everything is made from scratch, from risottos to candied bacon, and the bar has 12 local beers.
Trying to support as much of the local businesses as possible.
Samuel Slater's aims to make Indian Ranch more of a destination and bring people to Worcester County.
There's so much to do here that I'm hoping people keep coming back.
The restaurant has seasonal outdoor seating and private dining below. Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.